You are
You
live.
didn't grab both of those drawers. You just grabbed one.
No, they're both the other ones
Oh,
there.
okay. Hi, I'm Laura with Rethunk Talk about Laura. Welcome to Thursdays at 3-ish. Are we not live? We were reaching like there was a problem.
Somebody was calling.
Oh, okay. Um, welcome. We have one announcement before we start, and that is what we keep saying.
Nobody's on here.
Nobody's on. Okay. You can say that out loud. Nobody's on here yet. Because if nobody's on here, there's nobody to hear you say there's nobody on here.
But they hear it when we do the video on something else later when they watch it.
I don't think it's bad that they.
Rhonda Tadlock is watching.
Hey, Rhonda.
Karen Roberts.
Welcome. So you're saying just don't talk? Because Rhonda and I could work together and have a great video.
You can talk now.
Hi, Rhonda. Okay, so welcome to Thursdays at 3-ish, and we are talking about...
Brad Moore's watching.
Hey, Brad. Okay, well then, we're ready to go. If Brad's on, we are good to go. It's my brother-in-law. He's pretty fabulous. So we're talking about fixing furniture if you have a little bit of a problem. Most of you should not, so I don't know why I'm asking for questions, but if you have an issue that you would like us to address, be thinking about it and we will address it. Before we start that, I want to tell you again about the Creating group. It's our Facebook group called Creating with RTJ Panko, it's a fabulous group. This week, there's lives all the time. This week, the retailer that is helping us is Tanya with Blue Jay Vintage, and she's going to be showing you how to make one of these little cute guys, a porch leaner using stain top and our fabulous new miracle sponge. So tune in, and that's going to be, I'm trying to read upside down, Thursday the 24th. Oh, that's today. So it's tonight at 6. So tonight at 6, you'll want to tune in to the Creating page, Creating with RTJ Penco, and watch Tanya, because that is super, super cute. And she can show you how to make it. I actually like the front door, too. Do you see that?
A lot of people are saying hello.
This is the
That
front
is
door
cool.
I want out the library where we were talking about.
That sounds awesome.
Okay, I'm going to leave it here for inspiration for you.
Brad said,
Awesome. I'm so jealous.
you know, you might want to go on a more exciting cruise next time, Mr. Dodson.
No, he's living
But a lot of people
life.
said hello,
Living
but they
life.
went by quick, and going back to him, I'm messing it
everybody.
up. So
Okay, so we've had some questions on the Q&A page about fixing. To start with is the specific one under this post where we were talking about.
they said they can't hear you very well. It's probably that, and you need to speak up, and you
Probably
don't
what?
ever hear me say that.
Sorry, I will talk louder, and I'm working on getting a mic. You guys are supposed to be suggesting one. I got one before. I didn't pay enough for it. It broke. It doesn't work. So sorry about that. I'll try and talk loud. So I can't talk. I'm yelling.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. I'll tell you when you're yelling, baby. I know when you're yelling.
So the first thing we're going to do is talk about, is the volume up on the phone? Would that make any difference? I don't know if that makes any difference or not.
You're asking me to do something on a phone.
Yeah. First one we're going to do is I'm talking to Mindy DeLong. Mindy and I are having a little problem here together. We're going to fix. So, I put my sea spray up. She had, and I've had this happen too, where a couple months after you've painted in the kitchen, you have somebody come in that has a killer manicure and they scratch the little spots around, I'm sitting down while I'm talking, scratch the little spots around the knobs. So, the first thing we
Can
want to
people
talk
hear?
to... Can you guys hear now? First thing I want to tell you is the paint is unbelievably durable. I am not just saying this, but knowing that we were going to do this, are people saying they can't hear?
No, it's frozen up. I don't know what's going on, Laura.
Is it frozen now?
Well, nobody's saying nothing.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? What's up? No?
I think you're hooked to... Brad ain't saying nothing, so I don't know.
Do I continue the video or do we not?
You continue on, baby.
That's what the cameraman's supposed to do, is let me know what to do.
Well, there ain't
Okay,
no
so,
comments, so I don't know.
Are you videoing? Is there a video happening?
I'm videoing, but nothing's... You're moving, but there's no comments. So what I'm saying is I don't know.
Somebody say something. Please! Okay, so the paint is incredibly durable. I'm not just saying this. I
Did I
walked around
turn
the
off
house.
comments or something?
Swipe over.
It said a second ago that it was a poor connection and that you needed to redo your connection.
Did you swipe and get comments now?
Hey, it's freezing. You're live. I see and hear. Okay, you're
All
back.
right, here we go. All right. So,
Sorry, guys.
walking through the place trying to find something that was messed up that we can fix. I do have a cedar chest in my bedroom. We could have relocated there that Teddy took a screwdriver to and messed up. But other than that, I seriously did have a hard time, even with a grandson, even with a son who's got 2 ponies that he likes to call dogs, even with all of us living in a compound. It was hard to find something really messed up. I know it happens. I'm just saying, if you've prepped and you've really painted, it's probably more of a rare occurrence than you would think. So, but I did have, when we painted a kitchen, one of our kitchens, I probably didn't prep well enough, and I'm not saying that's your problem, Mindy, but I'm saying I had little marks around the handles. She's got finger marks or finger scratches around where the handles are. It happened on the cabinets we got in the most, which was the cabinet for the glasses and the cabinet for the snacks. So those were the two. What I want people to remember is you have saved so much money painting your kitchen yourself versus having it resurfaced versus having the cabinets pulled out and more things put. It can be a pain every 6, 8, 12 months to do it, but here's a fix if you have the little spots around your cabinets. And I would do this before my mother-in-law came every time so that I could impress her, because I want her to love me. So normally I'm an 80 grit sandpaper girl. This is 220, much softer. And for what I'm doing, so you can use a little piece of sandpaper. I'm probably just going to use one of our scrubby pads, and I'm going to grab the paint. I went over here.
What am I doing?
In a minute you're going to come. Oh, there it is. Before the video, I came over with a screwdriver and I made a mark so that you guys could see that it was scratched.
I don't. I'm not privy to what's going on, so I'm just following.
All right, so I'm going to use the Miracle Brush because I can feather it out really well. I'm trying to talk loud. You just want a little bit on your brush, but see, and this is more than you would get with a fingernail. See right here? I put a screwdriver right there and made this scratch. Can you see the scratch? I'm going to move my hand.
You can see it.
Okay. So if it was 3-dimensional and there was paint hanging off of this scratch because there was such a killer manicure that the paint peeled up, usually there's not. But if there was, all it takes is a scrubby pad and then smooth it out so that you don't feel anything. If you don't feel anything, you won't see anything. It does not matter that there are two colors there. It does not matter what it looks like. It matters what it feels like. If you can feel a divot, if you can feel a dent, then you'll see that when you paint it. It is smooth. I don't see anything. So that's all it takes to fix it. When it dries, it's going to dry the exact same color. Paint dries darker. I'm just feathering it out now. I don't need to paint this far, but I don't want to ridge where the paint stopped. That's all it takes. We'll come back and look at that when we're done with the next project we're doing, but that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Does anybody have any questions about something that they'd like to... Yeah.
So Amy Roberry said, and I know you consider her next to,
She's fabulous.
She said that all Facebook is having troubles right now, the lives and things, so we may not be getting comments as they're being commented. So she said, just keep going.
Yeah,
so asking people, it may not work if it's slow, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay, next tip
I want to answer all your questions.
What if you have a piece, I brought this drawer in, because this is something a little different. This is something where I've got glaze. Glaze is going to be, I could come back in and paint this, but it's not going to look the same. And I did this probably 8 years ago. It's not, and it's been through 2 moves with us and everything else. It's not going to look the same when you're glazing. Feathering in glaze can be tricky. So you want to pick a section that you can do. Luckily, this drawer has a section that I can do. So I'm going to redo this one, which I'll show you just a little. But if I'm doing something that has a glaze, I'm going to paint. Looks like it probably is putty. I'm so good. Because I want to paint over, if this was a scratch, I'd be painting over it. But I want to paint over whatever other color paint is that's smushed up against that and got on it. And if you do a section like this, then you can feather that glaze in and have it look fabulous. If it's your table, a big dining table, just go side to side in a section and feather that glaze in. You can sand it a little bit, and I'll show you that on a chair. I've got a couple spots on after the move.
Amy Roberry said your knobs are gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm not even going to go where you're going.
That's what she said. Those knobs are gorgeous.
The ones on the china cabinet, so tell me what you think. Because I really like the ones on the china cabinet, because I know I did that finger thing with painting one of them, but 2 of them ended up being lost because it was so old. One of them was lost and one of them was broken. But I got these because I think, I hate this key thing. It seems romantic and wonderful, but okay, don't give them back.
There's a reason they went to knobs.
Yeah, what the heck? Okay.
Here, you want me to show you? Push it in, turn it, and pull before you get out. There you go.
No, I did that. It wasn't. All right. Is my bag of... Oh, I did all that and I didn't even have the bag in there. Okay, so tell me what you think. So I have these little sparkly ones on here because I'm a sparkly girl. Love sparkles. But I also got these the other day. Which ones? Oh, look at these. How fabulous are those? They're like mercury glass. Look how cool those are. What do we think? Sparkles or mercury glass? You like sparkles better, Tom?
I don't,
Really?
Laura, you're asking me to have an opinion. I have no opinions, but those are going to hang
Sparkles?
down and hit the other drawer when it opens. Seems like. I could be wrong.
You could be wrong. So sparkles or mercury glass? Okay, no, sorry. Let me get back on track. So once this dries, then we'll come in and we'll glaze. So we fixed the problem.
Somebody said mercury glass.
I
Nancy
love the
Clark
mercury
Bradley.
glass one. I love the mercury glass.
Kathy
Okay.
Esslinger said the sparkles. You created a war, Laura.
Well, they're both really cool. Okay, so this rocker.
Sparkles.
Okay.
Mercury glass.
I'll have to count up. All right, so this got moved and got bonked around a whole bunch in the move. And so there's spots all over. There's a spot right here. There's some spots. I don't know why I did distress it. Spots on the arm. Okay, so this one is one of those.
A lot of these spots that we're looking at aren't even nicks. They're this kind of thing.
That's just dirt.
Yeah, just dirt.
But right here,
That's how clean we are.
That is a spot right there, and that's one where I want to sand a little bit because I can see that it's going to feel a little different.
Why are you using a scrubby pad? You said you got the 180 out first.
Because I don't want to sand real aggressively.
Oh, well, that's
I don't want
fine.
somebody to have
I
a
just
spot
wondered
on their
what
kitchen table and like sand the heck out of it and ruin the table. You just want a little bit. Okay, 220 totally got that. So you just want to sand. Now I cannot feel.
They said I was louder than you. That's because I'm sort of holding
up
the
on
phone.
the camera. So I sanded till I don't feel anything. Now that I don't feel anything, I can put the color on, and you're not going to see any kind of patch. It's just going to blend right in. The key is making sure that you can't feel a dent or a spot. So just sand really gently. Start with something really light. I've even told people before you can sand with a paper bag to smooth something out.
Just use
your brush.
You can
Just
use your
what?
finger or that bouncer.
Okay, I'll use this, but I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I'm showing how simple.
Okay. Okay, now
Somebody
that's
said,
gonna dry.
Can you paint over the glaze?
Yes, you can. I just painted over glaze on this piece right here. The center was glazed.
Well, that's why they were asking, I think.
And you don't have to do anything to it. You just paint over it. That's all it did was paint it. Once it dries, I can reglaze there. And the only thing you have to, and this will dry again, paint dries darker. See how if you look now at the china cabinet, it's starting to dry and turn, the sea spray is turning into the same color everywhere else it was. The only thing you have to remember when you're doing a spot, if there's a problem because somebody's come in with a brick. Bottom line is you can scratch an Ethan Allen piece if you want to, if you're not careful. And let's back up a little bit and talk about dry time versus cure time. Dry time is, in a few minutes, that's going to be dry to the touch where I touch that up. Cure time is probably not going to be cured. See, this is when I hesitate. If you say cure time is 30 days, which is what Bear, Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams is going to say, cure time is 30 days, then people get scared that they can't use their piece for 30 days. You can. It will continue to harden for 30 days and reach maximum curation. You can use that word and impress your friends if you want, in 30 days. But after just a couple days, this paint is hard. It's not going anywhere. If you've ever tried to wet distress or even regularly distress after a couple days, it's really hard to do. So be gentle for the first little bit, especially with, if you've got cabinets or something. But it is going to really be ready to use after, 48 hours?
48 hours it's ready to use. 6 days you're not going to be able to get it off.
Yeah.
So
unless you put it on something really weird and you've not prepped and you've put on super thick coats, there are always variables. It takes longer to cure if you're in an area where it's cold.
What's interesting is what people don't know is when they paint I'm trying to keep it away from me so I'm louder.
Yeah.
That if you look at the back of your can when you paint your room, it says that they're not responsible if you hang things within a month. They're not responsible if the paint comes off the wall.
I got Tom hanging on this wall while I'm painting that wall because I'm not patient.
It's just, it's cure time, and they know that. And so if your piece sticks to the paint, unless it's been 30 days, they're just like, well, it wasn't cured. So it goes pretty low. Yeah.
Oh, we should have done it in my new office because of Teddy, because I put a fan and a big, huge file box on top of a dresser I painted. And when I pulled it up, there were some spots. All I'm going to do is take this little piece of sandpaper, sand it down, and repaint that spot. If I don't sand it down because it pulled up, I'll see that spot. This is the key to making sure that it covers everything. That, and if you've got a glaze or a stain, picking a section. Yes?
Best for use over oil-based enamel. This will stick to oil-based enamel.
This will prep like we do with everything else, but this will stick to oil base.
Yep.
Any other questions? You got any more questions?
I don't have any personally, no.
Is anybody watching have any
pretty
questions?
good.
Or do we not know because Facebook is being crazy?
I don't
So
know.
algorithms are weird. So, all right. If you have questions, post them here. I will make sure I go back through and watch them. If there's a specific thing that I can actually make a short little video and fix, I'm happy to do that. We want your projects to be successful. The key is prepping. Prep really well. Be patient and just be gentle for a little while and realize that you can have $1 million custom done cabinets that are going to scratch if you're not careful. That fix was so easy. Hopefully Mindy's happy about that. It was great. Every time my mother-in-law came, the 2 cabinets that did that, I was so happy because I had saved so much money. I had such a custom look. It was so much more custom because it could blend with anything else that I had painted in there, and was so much less expensive than anything else I could have done. The money I saved made it worth it for me to go the 2-3 times a year that Tom's mom visited and go swoop right around that knob. And that seems to be sometimes where people have trouble because there's so much use right there. So now you can also take the knobs off, sand a little bit, paint, and then put it back on. I didn't even take the knobs off. I just touched up around it and didn't even notice. So, any other questions? Anybody have any questions? Don't forget to watch tonight at 6 o'clock. Tanya's making the porch leaner deals. That's going to be super, super fun. And join that creating page. There is a question about will you be nice and will you play fair and will you not talk about other paint brands? Make sure you answer that question. What?
There's so much going on in the world right now. We need a little positivity.
It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, make sure you join that group. There is
Where did
so
you
much
find
fun
your
stuff.
mercury glass knobs?
I found those at Hobby Lobby. Aren't they wonderful? And right now they're half off. You know, if they
Today.
aren't where you are, yeah, it always. I took a picture up because they said everything for the wall, everything wall hanging was 50% off. Well, not the one I picked, but it'll come around again. So somehow that didn't count, but who knows?
So how long will paint store?
How long can you store it? Make sure the lid is on tight and you have sealed it, and make sure it is not in a lava type room like we have here at the school, or in an igloo type room. Don't freeze it. And then if you do that, it will last for
A very long time, several years. This one you can see on the sides. This is one Laura's been pulling out. Literally, it's probably been a year and a half, and you can see it hadn't affected at all. But up to 3 years if it's just on your shelf and it's tight.
If you've got the lid on, you sealed it correctly, it's going to last. Any other questions we got popping up?
They were saying watch the new group.
Yep. It's fabulous.
And that's it.
And you can fix anything. It's doable. I tried to print, but our printer was being weird. Jamie Morris, if you look at, I think she put it, I'll post it on this page again. She fixed a table for a client. I may be misspeaking, but I feel like it was something she didn't even do, but she came in with her Rethunk junk little tool belt and fixed it. You cannot even tell where the problems were. And it had a farmhouse type finish and glaze and everything else going on. So I will post that. And maybe Jamie will be kind enough to come in and say, here's what I did. Because it was a pretty intense mess up and a pretty big scratch and a pretty detailed. It wasn't as simple as painting over something solid. And she nailed it. So everything's fixable. You can do it. Don't get discouraged. And rarely does it actually do this. I seriously had trouble walking through the school finding something I could pull in here to fix. Yes.
Oh no, I was just going to say, and people forget that most of the things we're painting are things
that were horrific before.
That were scratched
that
up
you needed to
before.
paint because they had issues. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
but I don't get a call very often. I get most of the calls when that happens, and I don't get very many calls. And when I do, we've always been able to say, yeah, I do this, and it's perfect and it's good, and But we have kids. Nothing's bulletproof.
Right. So, thank you so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. I'll try and talk louder next week. Give me tips here for microphones.
Just
I know I need
order
a microphone.
one. If you order a microphone, 2 good things happen. 1, they can hear you. Number 2, they can't hear
Tom.
me.
Oh, so give me some tips on microphones.
Just order one.
Yeah.
Can you paint leather?
Can you paint leather? Yes, you can paint leather. There are tutorials. Search the page for tutorials on that. We've done videos on painting leather and painting pleather and painting vinyl, and yes, you can. You don't have to sand between coats on it. It's amazing. It's
Sissy
wonderful.
Fordham said hi from Millen. Where
Hey,
we're
from
milling
Millen, that's awesome. Say hello right back to you. So thank you so much. If we haven't addressed your comment, post here. Oh,
Yeah, flat top turns yellow on white cabinets. Why? And can I fix by painting over again? Yes, you can fix by painting over again. That's called bleed through. When you put the water-based really thin on there, it brought through bleed through. Just take your paint, thin it about 30%, make it real thin, go over the whole thing with a real light coat, let it dry. Do not put flat top back over it. You'll be good to go.
Thin it with water.
Water, yep.
Put water in your paint and put another really thin coat on. Just slap it on there.
It'll look great and it'll dry really fast.
You're not going to have brush stroke issues or anything like that. Cover up the areas that are yellow. It'll blend. You don't have to paint every single piece of the cabinet, just the areas that are yellow. The other thing that can happen is if you probably didn't sand. A lot of times people have yellowing when they sand, but that pulls through the tannins as well.
The other thing that can happen is if you had, now I'm assuming that you're doing what I deal with, which is the bleed through. But if it pooled down in corners and turned yellow, that's normal because it's a little too thick. The same thing works in those areas. Yeah.
So just don't let it pool when you're doing it. But great question.
Yep, perfect.
So, any other questions before we go? Is that it?
That's it, baby.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Happy Rethunking. Bye.
And go watch this thing tonight.
Thank you.